Sunday, Parshat Tetzaveh. We're going to do Ois Aleph in the Zera Shimshon, and we ask, Rebbeinu Shalom, please, just like we are being Mekayim the words of the Zera Shimshon that he asked, that we learn his Torah and spread his Torah, so too Hashem, please fulfill the promise of the Zera Shimshon that anybody that learns his Torah and spreads his Torah will see Yeshias that he needs speedily and quickly. So here in Ois Aleph, the Zera Shimshon is going to explain what the smichas of the two parshas, what the connection is between Terumah and Tetzaveh, why they're next to each other. He says like this: the last week's parsha ends off with the word nechoshes. And nechoshes is the last word of the parsha, is the acronym, it's the Rishatayvis for Ner, Chodesh, Shkulim, Tir'eh. Ner is the menorah, Ner, light. Chodesh is the new levuna that comes every month, that we are mechadesh through Bezdin, that people have to see it, and then their Bezdin is mechadesh it. And Shkulim is, like we see in next week's parsha, that the Eibishter Hashem told Moshe Rabbeinu to go and count the Yidden through Shkulim. And Tira, he had to see these actual things because it was very hard for him to understand, says Rashi, in each one in its place, what it actually was that Hashem wanted. What the menorah looked like, what the moon looked like when it became reborn, and what a shekel HaKodesh was. And that's connected to this week's parsha about the Tetzaveh. Says the Zera Shimshon, what's the connection? The connection is because this week's parsha doesn't mention Moshe Rabbeinu's name. Why doesn't it mention Moshe Rabbeinu's name? To show that these three things, this Ner, Chodesh, and Shkulim, were hard for Moshe to understand, not because they were very deep, not because of the depth of these three things, because there were concepts that were much harder and much deeper than these three, Ner, Chodesh, and Shkulim, that Moshe Rabbeinu had no problem understanding. He understood the entire Torah, he understood everything besides these three things. And they weren't so hard to understand. They weren't the hardest things. So it says the Zera Shimshon, it's coming to show us that Moshe Rabbeinu didn't understand it because it was being meramas to him, it was hinting to him that he was going to die in Chitz L'Oretz and wasn't going to go into Eretz Yisrael. That these three things, Ner, Chodesh, and Shkulim, he couldn't understand the concept that why certain things had to be done. We'll see further on during the week when he goes further explaining each one, what it had to do with him and why it had to be done, or certain ways things had to be done, because he didn't realize that he was going to be nifter in Chitz L'Oretz and not in Eretz Yisrael. And therefore, he says that the word nechoshes is next to the Tetzaveh, because Moshe Rabbeinu is not mentioned, because one has to do with another. He couldn't understand it, because he wasn't going to be going into Eretz Yisrael.